about to dive right into it. So Donald Trump, guys, this is probably the most divisive and polarizing presidential campaign in the history of America. So apparently Donald Trump is saying that if he loses in November, he will not run in 2028. Let's take a look
If you're
at
not
this.
successful this time, do you see yourself running again in 4 years?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I think that will be it. I don't see that at all. I think that hopefully we're going to be successful.
And this
Now, what kind of dumb question is that? The guy is literally 82 years old. Do you think that he'll be able to still run in 4 more years? I mean, I know Trump is Superman here, but I mean, come on, give me a break. If they're talking about Biden's cognitive decline and he was only, I think, a couple years older than Trump, where do you think Trump's headed when he's at 80? What is he? He's going to be like 86, 87 years old at that time. There's absolutely no way he'll be able to do it. No one in history probably ran at that age, unless the guy's like projected to live up to over 100 years old or something. But I don't see it, man. Anyways, but all the polls are saying Kamala is leading him. All the polls except the ones that Fox is fabricating are saying that Kamala Harris is leading Trump. And I don't find that a surprise, guys. There's a lot of people that just don't like Donald Trump. Point blank.
It does seem like this race has become a lot more competitive. And now we see the Trump campaign on the defensive in states like North Carolina, where it was supposed to be more of an easy win. And I do think that the polling at this point in the race might not be reflective of what we see happen on November 5th. Of course, there's so much more that can happen in the next 44 days, as we've seen the case of the last 3 months. Things keep changing constantly. And it really does feel like this race is one in which these individual moments really do change the wind or change the sails, And so I think it is too soon to say, whether this is a good sign for Harris or a bad sign for Trump. But obviously the polling numbers have been changing quite significantly throughout this entire cycle.
Let's talk about these individual wins and these key moments that we are going to see within the next few weeks and that could change the state of the race. So next week, we are going to see the vice presidential debate between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance. What do you think that's what's going to come out of that? Actually, more specifically, do you think that depending on how either of those candidates do within that debate, it'll kind of change the state of what voters are thinking heading into November?
I mean, it is hard to say because these, Walz and Vance are both lesser known politicians than, say, Harris and Trump. It is still very helpful to be able to showcase your running mate as being very competent, fast on their feet, able to address the policy issues that Americans want to know. But I do think that this debate is more so their opportunity to introduce themselves on the national stage. And so I don't know if this will definitely impact the race.
I think it's definitely going to be one to watch out for because Trump's vice presidential pick was such a huge topic of concern for a lot of people, and a lot of people weren't happy that he went with J.D. Vance. To the contrary, no one really knows or really cared about who Kamala picked, but Trump's pick, there was footage that he previously was saying that he wouldn't even dare do business with Trump, and he didn't want Trump as president. He was totally anti-Trump, and then to see him being picked as the vice president, and then his warmongering type rhetoric, when he goes on some of these mainstream media outlets where he says he wants to go to war with Iran and China, and a lot of people didn't like that. Trump's losing in the polls simply because he's backtracking on a lot of statements that he's made previously, saying he's going to end all the wars. He's not going in depth with exactly how he wants to end the Ukrainian war. He just tells us that him and Putin are really good friends. No one knows what that means, right? So I think that's going to be definitely one to look out for.